Hohem are stepping up their game with the iSteady product line, and this might turn into the best pocket-sized affordable smartphone gimbal ever, or not. Good stabilization, long-lasting battery, and a lot of templates to make your footage shine. How good is that? Let's inspect. Hey, welcome everyone, how are you doing? Michael, that's a Tech4All YouTube channel where we inspect cool tech, and a real-life vlogging test with the Hohem iSteady X, this brand new gimbal, and I'm gonna show you a lot of footage and all about its features. Right now, real-life vlogging scenario. On the gimbal, I have the Mi 10 Pro, and you're listening all that through the internal microphone of the Mi 10 Pro. I know it's a flagship phone, but its front camera has absolutely no stabilization, so at the moment this kind of image that you're seeing is stabilized only through the mechanical stabilization of the iSteady X. And important to find out, is there any motor noise? I don't think so. Now in this video, all about the hardware, all about the software, a lot of shooting scenarios, because I think the iSteady X is a fantastic offering at the moment, reasonable price, lots of good features, and finally, I would say a usable smartphone app, which is very much DJI Mimo-like. The best part about this gimbal is the price. Costs only $79 and well undercuts any sort of competition. In fact, there are three popular devices that it joins. The Moza Mini S, which is much larger, but costs about the same money. The DJI Osmo Mobile 3, priced at around $100, and the Zhiyun Smooth Q2, which costs at the moment around $120. None of the mentioned so far devices is perfect, because due to their either small size or folding options, they do have limitations. And I'd like to underline that these are all consumer and enthusiast-grade gimbals, and they are meant to be easy to use, point and shoot, share to social media, done. If you need something more professional-oriented, it will cost you, of course, more, and it's questionable whether a smartphone can act as a professional videography tool, because it is still difficult to follow some of the important cinematography rules, which these devices, despite the huge improvements of most phone cameras in the recent years, cannot offer. By the way, each one of the mentioned models and the equipment used throughout the video you will find linked in the description below. The unboxing clearly demonstrates the new style of Hohem, new colors, more fashionable packaging design. I like that. The experience while you're unpacking your new gadget is great, and inside we can see a good amount of accessories. Nice surprise for such a budget-friendly device. The gimbal is of course the rockstar here, but we also have a small tripod, carrying pouch, carrying strap, and Type-C charging cable. On a full cycle, the battery is gonna last up to 8 hours, which is quite good. I can a little disagree with that value. Operating with mostly Oneplus 7 and the Mi 10 Pro, which weigh 180 and 210 grams respectively, I got the battery empty after between 4 and 5 hours, but the fact is that most gimbals with comparable battery capacity will have these achievements. With lighter phones, the operation time will be of course longer. The design of the gimbal is very slim, so there shouldn't be any visible parts from the gimbal when you film, and we have seen such issue with other smartphone stabilizers. It's foldable, and the mechanism is surprisingly not that confusing. Hohem claimed to use with this iSteady model non-orthogonal design, which is compatible even with the popular lately wide-angle phone cameras, and that's a brilliant move because most of these don't support electronic or optical image stabilization. The mechanical stabilization provided by iSteady X is 3-axis based, and Hohem claimed 320 by 320 by 270 degrees, but in my opinion the rolling is much more limited than that and is no more than 70 to 90 degrees if the gimbal is in still stand. Just notice how quickly it reaches the limits. But if we add the shooting mode to the equation, and the default is something like FPV, where the gimbal follows your movements, having only the horizon axis locked, it's quite nice. This is the first iSteady gimbal I test that practically has two modes controllable from the buttons, landscape and portrait. But if you connect to the app, you will notice that there are more possibilities. And that approach reminds a lot the way DJI handled the controls of their gimbals. It was also one of the reasons I liked iSteady devices that much, because of the easiness for switching between the different modes. But now it's gone. It looks like they've added some smartness in the way the gimbal reacts to switching scenes. because it's one of the very few gimbals that easily let me get to low angle shooting. Anyways, the default mode is the most widely used and seems to be well calibrated. Speaking of calibration, inside the apps there weren't any controls for the motor speed and load yet, and I've had situations where that would have been helpful because I noticed some vibrations can occur at certain conditions. Within the 10 days while working on the review, there have been 2 firmware updates already. Most of the footage I've shot with the second firmware version, but I also have some footage with the latest edition, and luckily the footage from them both looks pretty good. A slight disadvantage is the lack of 4K at 60 frames per second on the Hohem's app, although my phones support that, and I had to use the phone's native camera to get that. As for the mentioned app, it's called Hohem Pro, and it is the next one that Hohem released. While the app itself is good, I will recommend to whoever from Hohem Tech sees this video to work on their app framework and reduce the amount of different apps, because I have 3 of their gimbals and each one of them uses a different app. The Hohem Pro, the one used for the iSteady X, is in fact the one that is closest to DJI Mimo, and if that says nothing to you, I would consider this as an advantage because DJI usually offer a remarkable user experience. The app is very simple to use, looks similar to most phone camera apps, but you have some nice controls of the gimbal's modes, fine-tuning of the responsiveness to movements, which I liked a lot, and also the features like face tracking. In fact, this is the first gimbal with face tracking which has given me such good results, and even if I get outside the frame, the moment I return, it fixes my face and continues following me. Quite a smart move is to put the pro-grade features like time-lapse and motion-lapse in the section called Moments. This is the area where you have a few guided templates with music, and if you find yourself at a nice place, just point and follow the instructions. I promise you're gonna like the results. So that's the iSteady X, a $79 pocket-sized 3-axis gimbal for a smartphone with tons of features which are fun to use and rather no pro-grade features, which of course the name and the price suggest. Motors are totally silent, modes are enough to satisfy vloggers, both YouTubers and TikTokers. My personal take: I totally love the stabilization provided. It's awesome, even with a cheap phone. Build quality is great, so is the size and form factor. Good battery life, easily foldable. I don't like the lack of switching between modes from the gimbal without the app, but hey, with some exceptions, Hohem finally have created a good smartphone app. And perhaps one of the most exciting small pocket-sized phone gimbals out there.
And so, what is your opinion? Would you trust the iSteady X, or you better spend $20–30 more and buy the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 or probably the Zhiyun Smooth Q2? I don't know, you can say in the comment section below the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and support me by using the like button or using any of the links with discounts which are listed in the bottom. It's been a great pleasure to show you the iSteady X. Take good care of yourself and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!